All right, let's talk about the latest Woodbury update because they've rolled out something that totally changes the game. We're talking about a feature that takes that messy, raw data from your pipelines and turns it into a polished, interactive application, pretty much automatically. So today, we're going to dig in and see how this bit of magic actually works under the hood. Okay, so let's get right into it. On the left here, yeah, that's the world we used to live in. You'd run this super powerful pipeline, and what did you get? A massive wall of raw JSON. I mean, sure, it's powerful, but it's not exactly user-friendly, right? For a long time, that was just the reality, which really limited who could actually make sense of the results. But on the right, that's where we are now. A clean, polished, interactive app. You know, the old way really meant you needed someone technical to come in and translate that raw output. They were basically the gatekeeper between all that rich data and the people who actually needed the insights. It worked, sure, but man, it created a serious bottleneck. So that raises the question, what if the end of a pipeline run wasn't just the end of a process, but the start of an actual experience? What if that output itself was a finished product you could use, share, and honestly, one that looked great right out of the box? And that is exactly what this update delivers. It's called Pipeline App Mode. And let me be clear, this isn't just a prettier way to look at your data. It is a complete metamorphosis of your results into a real interactive application. So, for example, your marketing team can now just see the results of a sentiment analysis pipeline themselves. No engineer needed to translate it for them. Let's look at how it all comes together. This is so much more than a data table with a fresh coat of paint. It's a really thoughtfully designed UI. Your pipeline structure automatically becomes the navigation menu. Your data gets displayed in these smart, easy-to-digest cards, and it even handles complex nested data with these intuitive tabbed panels. This part is just so clever. So the system does what's called a topological sort on your pipeline's graph. I know, fancy term, but all it means is it understands the logical flow of your steps. And then it uses that understanding to build this super intuitive sidebar menu. Each node in your pipeline becomes its own section, complete with an icon and an item count. You get an organized overview of everything, instantly. Okay, but making this happen isn't just some front-end trickery. To really get how this works, we've got to pull back the curtain and look at the new back-end engineering that makes it all possible, starting with how the app's data is actually served up. The engineers actually built out a whole new dedicated API just for this feature. It really cleanly separates all the requests, one for the app structure, another for its data, and another for any updates you might make. There's even an endpoint to grab data for just a single component on the fly. It's just a really smart, clean design, and it's what makes the whole experience feel so fast and responsive. And this flow right here is absolutely crucial. As soon as a pipeline finishes, the system automatically moves the results into a dedicated file just for the app view. That separation is key. But look at that last step. If you go back and edit the output of an early node, the system is smart enough to flag all the downstream steps as stale. This is huge for data integrity because it shows you exactly what needs to be rerun. Now we get to my favorite part, the sheer intelligence that's baked right into the UI. I mean, think about it. How does Woodbury turn a bunch of raw JSON into a clean app? How does it just know which piece of data is a title or a description or an image? Well, the answer is heuristics. And before we dive deeper, let's just quickly define what a heuristic is. Honestly, just think of it as an educated guess or a smart rule of thumb. It's a shortcut the system uses to make a pretty good decision really fast without needing you to go in and configure every single little detail. So here's the secret sauce, this three-tier logic. When it's building one of those cards, Woodbury first looks for a field named exactly title. If it doesn't find one, no problem. It tries again, but this time ignoring the case. So title or title will work. Still no luck? It broadens the search to look for substrings. So a field called product_image_URL gets correctly picked up as an image. This is what makes the whole thing feel so magical. It just works. And you know, this update wasn't just about the shiny new app mode. The team also shipped some really significant improvements across the entire platform, strengthening the foundations and improving the core experience for every single developer. Take this number, for example, 32,768. That is the new standardized token limit for all AI code generation calls. Before, different calls had different limits, and that could actually cause the AI to generate incomplete code without any warning. This change means you're going to get much more reliable, complete outputs every single time. The update also comes with a really solid list of bug fixes. They tackled some key pain points, like making sure local images load correctly in app mode, fixing some annoying UI bugs in chat, and even solving these tricky file sync issues that were creating phantom nodes. It all just adds up to a much more stable and polished experience. So when you put it all together, the transformative UI, the smart backend that powers it, and all the platform-wide improvements, you really start to see how this changes everything. It's a fundamental shift in what a pipeline can even be. You know, this quote from the development log just says it all perfectly. This isn't just about adding a new feature. It's about completely reimagining what you can build. The end result of your work is no longer just a pile of data. It's a living application ready to be used, explored, and shared with anyone, no matter their technical background. And that really brings us to the most exciting question of all, doesn't it? This new capability just opens up a whole new world of possibilities, kind of blurring the line between data processing and actual app development. So I'll just leave you with this thought. If the end product of your pipeline is now a functional, user-friendly app, what completely new things are you going to build?